Joining me now at the desk in Parliament House is former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce. Thank you so much for being here. And you've brought
pleasure, Rita.
props, homework. What have you got there?
Well, for you, Rita, and for your listeners, this is the budget or the budget papers which we get delivered. And I just want to go through what the voice, if we had a voice, if we actually knew what a voice was, if it was in the Constitution, and we had to consult on issues pertinent to indigenous Australians, which is all Australians, what they would have to have been advised of first before the budget could go forward. And that would be, out of these books, all of them.
Well, absolutely, because every policy impacts Indigenous Australians. They're not exempt from anything, whether we're talking about foreign policy, whether we're talking about roads,
taxes, pensions, defence. I mean, it just goes to show you, because this one might be the last budget we have if this craziness got up, that we wouldn't actually have to do this, Rita. We'd have to actually have advance all this policy to a selected body, not an elected body, a selected body there in perpetuity or for 8 years, sort of like an Australian House of Lords. And I suppose they'd give their tick and flick and approval of what they believed is proper consultation on this before we could go back to trying to manage the country. And
as the Prime Minister said, it would be a brave government indeed that would ignore that advice. So let's not pretend it's just advice that you can choose to ignore. Even if they don't challenge it in the courts, there would be all sorts of repercussions if you just simply ignore.
They'd get you on consultation. They'll say, well, you didn't consult us properly on the fiscal and strategy outlook. You didn't talk to us long enough. You erred, you left points out. Therefore, all your fiscal and strategy outlook as pertains to policy is now unconstitutional because we weren't properly consulted.
Now, the Coalition's new legal affairs spokeswoman, Michaelia Cash, she has argued that this Indigenous voice is going to destroy equality of citizenship and embed division based on race in the Constitution. Well, no lies detected there, I've got to say.
No, that's completely correct. And you think Article 1 of the Human Rights Convention, or the Convention on Human Rights from the United Nations, says that you and I, Rita, and everybody else is born with equal rights and equal dignity. Now, this inherently says that people are born of, if it got through, of different rights.
Yep.
And what a weird thing for Australia. What a weird thing for Australia.
And those rights based on something that you have zero control over. So it's not based on your contribution or your character. It's based on ethnicity, the very thing we should not be.
That's why it's such anathema, Rita. That's why people, because they say, you are seriously going to ask me about the colour of my skin and my race before you determine whether I have a right or not? Do you know how insulting that is? And I try to refer people back to Faith Banlow back in 1967 in the 67 referendum, and she is rightly held up as one of the great sort of beacons of common sense and purpose. She said she actually wanted Section 52 taken out. She said my vision is for all Australians to be seen as equal, and that Indigenous Australians or Aboriginal Australians, as she noted them, not be seen as a sort of an addendum, a sidekick that she would be angry as anything about this.
Well, yeah, it's become very strange. The new anti-racism seems to have a very racist undertone to it.